The town is taking steps to get back a townway to water. Barnstable police are searching for a suspect that they believe was responsible for oyster theft over the summer. Plus, find out about a program that provides no interest deferred loans for Barnstable homeowners looking to hook up to the town's sewer system. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, October 29th, 2013. I'm Sarah Mannel. Town officials want to get back a piece of property on Long Beach Road that was recently lost in a court battle. The property in question was used as a townway to water for many years. Chair of the Community Preservation Committee, Lindsay Council, discussed a request to set aside funds to acquire that parcel.
Well, this property had been in the town's ownership for over 100 years. It's one of the two accesses to the Centerville River and Nantucket Sound on Long Beach Road. And through a convoluted court decision, it was deemed that the town records on hand were insufficient to prove ownership. So there's an appeal pending for that decision on that case. And in order to keep the town's interest in this land, the manager has recommended that we set money aside to acquire that parcel. And so that's what we're being asked to consider, is putting money aside to acquire the interest in that parcel on Long Beach Road.
During discussion, committee member Sue Rohrbach said steps need to be taken to get the property back.
I think that this beach and the ways to this beach are beloved, and I think that it's really important that we maintain them, and I think it's very important that we have all the options available to try to do that, that we can. Much as it would pain me to have to pay for something that I believe is ours, I would be willing to do it.
The committee voted to recommend setting aside up to $500,000 to be used to purchase the property. That move now goes before town council. Barnstable police are making headway with two important investigations. Police Chief Paul McDonald has details on those developments.
We have identified a possible suspect in all of those thefts regarding the quahogs and clams up and down the Cape. We have identified a suspect. We are working with the environmental police on that investigation. Besides that, the other major investigation we have going on is last Friday morning, Wendy's at the airport rotary was broken into. We have identified two suspects, and they were both subsequently arrested Sunday morning. Rhonda Blake from Brewster, Mass., and Alecta Varela from Buzzards Bay. Both were arrested for that beating.
Chief McDonald says a prescription drug drop-off Saturday was successful.
And we do this twice a year. We do this in cooperation with DEA. I think 14 out of 15 towns participated in it. Between the hours of 10 and 2, we had 76 individuals come in and drop off their unwanted medication. We filled up 4 bags. Each bag weighs about, boxes. Each box weighs between 15 to 18 pounds, so we collected somewhere between 60 and 72 pounds of unwanted medication. So that's good. That's probably one of our highest totals yet. So that was a good day.
And Chief McDonald also said Thursday there will be a few extra officers on patrol in all of Barnstable villages.
Some neighborhoods are a lot busier than other neighborhoods historically, and we have identified those over the years. The bicycle patrols will be out in some of those neighborhoods. We also have the safe trick-or-treat on Main Street between the hours of 4 and 6. That has really drawn a lot of the kids into that area. I think several thousand kids will. The parents bring the kids down there. They know the police are going to be there. It's still daylight. We'll have several officers down there to make sure there are no problems, and there's never been any problems down there. So yes, there will be several additional police officers out there, but we are not expecting any problems.
And again, that safe trick-or-treat on Main Street in Hyannis is Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. A bill that would give victims of domestic violence up to 15 days of leave recently passed the state Senate. State Senator Dan Wolf says that while he voted for the bill, he wishes it went further to protect victims.
It applies to people who work in companies with with 50 or more employees. And I guess my question would be, what about the 1.2 million people in Massachusetts who work in companies with less than 50 employees? Do we not think domestic violence is serious enough to cover them, or do we think that they shouldn't be covered by a bill, or do we think that those businesses are so fragile that if they allow somebody who's been battered or beaten to take some time off, that it's going to actually kill their business? And, Sarah, you and I have had this discussion before. It's an odd thing on Beacon Hill right now, which is that when the business community weighs in, it seems like there's never any dialogue or pushback. It seems like what we do is simply say, well, if they're not going to go along with it, we'll change the bill until they do. I think this is embarrassingly weak, to put it mildly. We're talking about people who are the victims of domestic violence, and if there are employers that are Neanderthal enough to not provide people who have been victims of domestic violence for time off, I don't see why the law shouldn't require it. It's not even requiring pay. This law requires unpaid leave. So, clearly somebody who's living hand to mouth is not going to want to take time off unless they absolutely have to. My opinion on this bill, consistent with the bill that I filed, the Earned Sick Leave bill, which does cover victims of domestic violence. The bill that I filed would apply to businesses of more than 6 employees and would provide a certain amount of paid time off so that people, again, weren't choosing between going to work, having just been a victim of domestic violence, with probably medical needs and certainly counseling needs in crisis, and putting food on the table at the end of the week or paying a mortgage.
The bill will now move to the House. The town is offering residents deferred loans to connect to town sewer. Barnstable This Morning host Sarah Colvin sat down with Community Development Coordinator Kathleen Gerard to talk about the program.
So we're talking a little bit about some money that's available on that stuff, the sewer connection loan program for folks who live along the new sewer route and are looking to get some help in getting connected. Talk to me a little bit about where this money is coming from.
Sure. We actually have funds available from our Community Development Block Grant Program, which is from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and it's to help eligible homeowners connect to the town sewer.
Great, and of course it can be a little bit of a costly thing to connect your house to the sewer, and so this is designed to help folks out who are in need. How do you qualify? Who's eligible for these loans?
Homeowners need to be eligible based on their income because it is federal money. We have our income rates on the town website, and it's based on household size. In addition to income eligibility, the property needs to be owned by the applicant, the homeowner, and as a primary residence, so no second homeowners or vacation homes are eligible at this time. And they do need to be a U.S. citizen or possess eligible immigration status.
Indeed, because again, federal funds
federal
that
money
are paying
requirements.
For this.
Correct.
So there's an income eligibility, and of course, again, it has to be your primary residence, no vacation homes or second homeowners, and you have to be a U.S. citizen. So fairly simple terms. How does the loan work? How does this program work? What are the terms of these loans?
It's a no interest, it's a non-payment, it's a deferred loan program, which means that you only repay this loan if you sell or transfer the property. A mortgage is recorded at the Registry of Deeds, and if there's any transaction where you're transferring ownership, then the loans would be repayable. But there are no monthly payments and no interest, so it's a really good deal for homeowners that qualify.
Absolutely, absolutely, and certainly, as we look at people getting ready to connect to this, and I think it's important to note that this is just for the connection between the home and the sewer. It's not for betterments or anything else associated with it. It's simply just for that.
That is correct, and there are other programs that are out there to help with the betterment through the county.
Absolutely. And so if people have questions, have you gotten a lot of calls? How long has this program been in place, and is there an expiration date for it?
Currently, there is no expiration date. We've had it in process for the last couple of years. This year, it's actually starting to be active with now that the connection has happened from in the street in the Stewart's Creek area. We just did our first loan recently, and it's just about completed. So we're hoping that more people will be interested. It was a pretty smooth process.
And to get more information on the program, you can contact Community Development Coordinator Kathleen Gerard. Her number is 508-862-4702. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.